People often get into vending with a lot of misconceptions, like they're going to become rich instantly or that it's just a money printing machine, and then they don't make it. They expect certain things that aren't going to happen. And so within months or years, they fold up shop and they've got to sell their vending machines, and you don't want that to happen to you. So I'm going to walk you through some of the traps and certain misconceptions that people fall prey to so that you can be more prepared and have a higher chance of success as a new vending operator. I'm going to talk you through some of the things that the gurus say. Oh, work 2 hours a week, make this much money and stuff like that. I'm not a guru. I'm a guy who wants to help people be successful in vending. So we'll go through all that. So who am I? I'm James Brown, a former vending executive who's managed a lot of machines, one of the largest portfolios of machines in the world. And I've seen everything in vending from profitable to non-profitable. Okay, this one, it really pisses me off actually, because I feel like a fake dream is being sold. Yes, you can make a lot of money in vending. Yes, there are certain machines that are going to pay you a ridiculous amount if you land the account. Like I always talk about rec centers. I've seen rec center accounts where you could have 5 machines and be making a couple $100,000 a year. That is not ultra common though. And what you can't do is you can't be in vending and make $1 million a year off 2 fucking hours per week. You really can't. It takes a lot of work to run a vending company, and people that are working 2 hours a week, they're either not running a successful company or it's not true. It's just that simple. There's all kinds of things you have to do in vending that people don't think about. They think they just throw a machine into a vending spot and then it just starts printing money and selling things. They don't think about when the product that they want is out of stock. What are they going to do? What happens when somebody breaks into the machine? What happens when the machine breaks down? Like coils stop turning. You get bottle jams or product jams. There's a million things that can go wrong in vending, and vending also requires a lot of due diligence. You've got to be looking at your planograms all the time. The things that are in your VMS, so how you manage your machines, or if you don't have that, you've at least got to pay attention to product mix on your own via, sales through your devices or whatever it is. You've got to pay a lot of attention. You've got to change product out for food fatigue. You've got to add more product that's selling well. There's so many things that I can't even describe to you in this video. I could sit here for an hour. You want to talk about food licenses? What about if you have a building? What about hiring people and firing people and people that are stealing from you? You're trying to make $1 million a year. You can't do that on your own. You're going to have employees. So don't believe the hype. If you think that you're just going to put vending machines out and they're just going to print money for you without work, that is not reality. And that reality is going to come crashing down on you. Anyone who's in vending and is watching this, hit like right now if that resonates with you, because I'm tired of seeing this kind of language out there, essentially tricking people who are new in vending into believing that it's passive. It's a place or a space or an industry where you can make a lot of money if you do it well, but it's not easy and it's not passive and you can't do it on a couple hours a week. I think a lot of people who are introverts and who are like, I don't really want to sell and I don't want to do things that are related to that, are like, hey, I'll do vending machines. I'll just go and put products in the machines and I won't have to talk to people or things like that. Well, that's not really true, especially if you're an owner. If you're a vending technician, you might be able to get away with that. You get to go and you fix machines. You don't have to do as much customer service, although there is some. But if you're an owner of a vending company and you're trying to scale up, you're going to have to be amazing at customer service. You're going to have to manage objections. People are going to tell you, hey, put this completely garbage chocolate bar in the machine. I love it. And you're going to know that it doesn't sell, and you're going to have to manage that conversation with them or do something you don't want to do and put in something like Big Turk. I hate Big Turk. Anyone who knows me in vending knows me and Big Turk don't get along. So you're going to have all kinds of things outside of just filling a machine with products. So if you're not willing to focus on customer service and you don't want to talk to anyone, maybe it's not the right avenue for you to pursue. Maybe vending's not for you. People are going to demand refunds. They're going to be like, give me this money back. And you're going to be like, what the hell? I know this didn't happen. People demand fake refunds all the time. They're going to call you at all hours. Your machine is going to have problems and you're going to have to deal with a site supervisor who's like, why the hell can't you keep your machine running? Like, there's going to be all of these customer service things that happen. And I don't want to spin this just in a negative light, but you've got to go in with your eyes open as to what this business is really about. Myth number 3, you'll just print cash because you put it in a good location. Now, don't get me wrong. Putting your vending machines in a great location is absolutely the first and most important step, although you're going to have to get good at selling to get the high profile accounts like hospitals and things like that. A hospital has an entire food team. Usually any good sized hospital has like a food team dedicated to on-site food. And these people are experts at their job. If you're going to place your first vending machine, you probably can't land a hospital contract. But anyways, I digress. So just because you put it in a good spot doesn't mean you're going to do well. And you've got to focus on a lot of different things like telemetry, devices on the machines, what the planograms are going to look like. You've got to manage the product in inventory. You've got to know what sales spikes are happening there. Maybe you put it in a spot where there's like volleyball tournaments or something. You've got to go there on certain days then, which means you have to understand your data and what's happening. So you have to have it in a good spot, but it doesn't, the myth is that it'll just run itself and it'll be easy from there. You still have to maximize the spot. I've seen vending machines in spots that could literally do 3, 4, 5 times what they're doing if the person who is running them was actually taking care of them properly and had the right machines in there. You know, things like they've got an old vending machine that only takes cash in this place that's ultra hot, and they could have a smart cooler or something along those lines that would sell dramatically more. It could sell products that were worth more and you could make more profit per sale. Sell like a $15 item that you make $10 on instead of selling a $3 item that you make $1.50 on. There's all these different options that an expert will know is out there that somebody who's not an expert won't. You're going to have repairs and theft. And if you don't take care of all of these things, you could lose the location. You might get it and then lose it because you expected it to be much easier. Next is you can just go and buy a vending machine route and off you go into the sunset, you know, making money hand over fist, etc. Buying a route, acquisition we call it, is a great idea when you know what you're doing. Because if you're just getting into it, you have no idea what locations really work, what to look for when it comes to machines, what questions to ask the seller, right? Often people are trying to unload machines and routes that don't really perform very well for them. Not very often does a route that is just going to print money for you come up. So you've got to be very careful around that. So I always recommend that people start by learning how to sell themselves. You've got to get your foot in the door some way. Maybe it's through somebody you know, one of your friends has a towing company or a trucking company or something along those lines. And you can get your foot in the door by putting a vending machine into a place where you already know the people who own the location. And then past that, you've got to start learning how to sell locations to put your machines in. And don't just focus on empty locations. I'm sure I've said this before many times. All new vending operators want low competition spots that are empty, but those spots are empty because they're no good. Next, new operators always want to buy cheap machines because, I mean, I get it, right? It's less capital investment and they're new, and most vending companies are started on about 10 grand or something. The problem is if you're not an expert technician, you're rolling the dice when you buy an old machine. So I think the myth is that you can just buy a bunch of old machines when you're starting out. And I see a lot of people make this mistake, and then you can just put those old machines out and they'll, make money for you. Often they're going to break down. I always recommend that new operators buy like a good refurb. And a refurb is usually where you take an old machine like an AP113 or something like that, and you put a new door on it so it looks great. And then all of the internals and everything are either repaired or replaced. And those machines, they look new and they cost way less than a new machine, and they perform well because they've essentially been fixed. So like that's usually where you should start if you don't want to fork out all of the cash for a brand new machine. I teach all of these things. I give personalized advice in a Skool community I have that has a bunch of vending operators in it, and it's my goal just to help them scale up, make profit, etc. If you're interested in something like that, I'm going to put a link down in the description and in the pinned comment. So go check it out and come join me.